Hey there! Are you a crime scene investigator, law enforcement officer, or forensic scientist looking for a Facebook community that understands you? Check out Taction USA's forensic product groups. You'll find blogs, articles, information, and community. For those of us in the investigative field, there are not many lines of support out there, but Taction USA is a company that was founded by law enforcement for law enforcement. Subscribe today to get access to exclusive content. Just look for Taction USA in Facebook groups.
Hello and welcome back to Crossing the Tape. It's time again for a miniature episode.
Mm-hmm.
Not full size.
Kind of like me.
Yeah. This week, we bring you a brief history of...
the bulletproof vest.
Or bullet resistant, as I like to say.
Ah.
Because, boy, they don't stop everything.
True. This episode will be, like he said, mini. If I went into all the details of the history of the bulletproof vest, we would be here all week. And I don't think you really want to hear all that. Some of it's boring.
They love hearing from us.
Well, I tried to make it concise. So.
Next week, we will be doing a dramatic reading of the Webster's Dictionary.
No.
Oh.
The bulletproof vest is one of the most important pieces of equipment that police officers have.
Mm-hmm.
The first bulletproof vest, in recorded history at least, was developed in 1538.
Not long after bullets.
Yeah. A certain man, Filippo Negroli, was tasked with making a pistol-proof vest for an Italian duke.
And he's a Canadian guy.
No. I would guess Italian based on the name. And
Filippo was like a Montreal thing.
No. But it makes sense that an Italian duke wanted such a piece to wear. He probably had some enemies.
A lot of assassinations in those days.
Well, that we know. I don't know. We haven't heard about it. That brings up a good point. We haven't heard of them.
Well, that's the Italian way.
However, it was questionable how effective it was, and I really couldn't find anything of what happened. I was trying to look.
He was shot dead 2 days later.
I know. I don't think there was a fatality, but I was trying to find specifics about why didn't it work. I think it was just something to do with how it was made or how it sat on him or something. It just wasn't right.
Yeah, it was an attempt, but it wasn't a good final product.
Right. So later, during the English Civil War, which was in the 1600s, a much more durable vest was made then. It had 3 layers, and upon testing, it would shred upon impact. It still would keep the person safe. So the vest itself would kind of
would fail.
Yes, but the person was intact.
Yes. So you could probably take 1 or 2 hits, depending on where on the vest.
Well, it said,
that was it.
What I read was that it said it could still be worn dependent on where the shot was. Yeah. So you still could wear it.
1 in the front, 1 in the back, and throw it away.
Right. So they developed it, and that's not a ton of time later that they developed something much more effective.
That actually, that poor Duke.
Yeah. So the first commercial vest was produced in the 1840s in Ireland. Mm-hmm. Then the
Lots
next
of assassinations in those days.
I think it's interesting though that it started in the 1500s because back then they had metal, you know. So
there was armor.
There was armor, and so this was Italy, but like the conquistadors in Spain had their all their armor.
Right, heavy armor, but this was also around the time in the 1500s, based on some unrelated research I recently did. The time of the kind of lightweight foot soldier.
Oh, yeah.
They were used very effectively.
Yeah.
In like the Spanish-Italian wars.
Yeah.
Just guys with a little knife and a little shield running, rather than lots of armor on an armored horse, or, one dude with a big sword and tons of armor.
So this is probably the happy medium. For a protectant without being heavy.
Yeah, they've got guns, so they can pick off those lightweight guys that are moving quickly.
Right. So the first commercial one, as I said, was in Ireland. And then Korea was the next country to develop the first soft vest. And that was made about 20 years later. And though these early versions were very crude, they protected. They held up very well.
Yeah, and luckily, firearms have come a long way too. But at the time, it was probably much less of a challenge to stop a musket ball than a hollow point 9mm round today.
Right. So the vest then continued to evolve into World War I, and that's when they were really refined. And around the 20s is when it really, I think, took off because they saw just how effective it was and how it really could help.
Yeah, that it was worth it.
Yes.
To outfit as many people with this as you could. And
those particular ones could absorb a variety of calibers, including 22s, 380s, and 45s, even back then.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought was interesting. I mean, that's a high caliber.
It's a large, powerful round, but it's because of that size and weight, the velocity is less than other rounds.
Right. But still.
I've heard people call it the flying ashtray. But still, it's a lot of force on impact.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
For the vest to be able to stop that hard hit.
Well, especially if it was close contact,
Right.
That in particular.
Well, yeah, from 300 yards,
yeah,
it's probably moving a lot slower by the time it reaches you, if it reaches you. But if a guy's point blank, then you can take a round like that and survive. It's definitely worth it.
Right. So, of course, since then, bulletproof vests have become more dependable than ever, and now have standards set by the National Department of Justice, and the levels they range from...
Department or Institute? I think it's NIJ.
Yeah, I think it is you're right. Yeah, now I can remember the label on the vests. But, and those levels they're always tested to see,
Gotta be a fun job.
Yeah.
But this company made this vest, we gotta certify it. Bang, 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 bang.
Right. So the levels ensure officer safety. And they're always evolving every year. Just with materials and the development of technology has been able to develop better vests and more protection.
Yeah, I've only been in law enforcement for about 8 years now. And my first vest, when I compare that to the one that I currently wear, it was much heavier, a lot more stiff. This one, it's thinner, lighter, and it's also got, I think it's steel woven through it, so it'll sort of keep your shape. So when you put it on, the
kinda
steel
Kevlar.
bends to you. Well, yeah, but the vest is Kevlar, but that other weave sort of hugs your body's natural shape.
But I'm thinking of medieval.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. But it's much lighter, much more comfortable, and that's just been in a few years.
Right.
That it's gone from clunky old vest to sort of lightweight, more breathable, comfortable, and even more durable than the first one that I had, more dependable.
Right. And it's constantly revolving, which is good because everything else in the world evolves.
Yeah, it is too.
So, protection needs to go with it.
Makes me wonder where I'll be in 10 years.
Right. But that is all I have for this mini episode.
As far as modern vests go, I want to say it was also an Italian guy. I may be mistaken. But, of course, when he developed his first prototype, he tested it and, showed it off at trade shows and stuff by going to people and going, "Here, shoot me," while he was wearing it. And that definitely got the point across. What an awful idea.
I think there's a picture somewhere circulating on Facebook that I saw not too long ago of that. And he probably went to the World's Fair and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would be a spectacle.
Waving a gun around saying, "Who wants to shoot me?" And apparently enough people took him up on it.
I know. It makes you wonder.
He just ate those rounds and went, "See? It works." Because it stops the penetration of the bullet, but it doesn't necessarily stop the force.
No.
So even though the bullet doesn't blast through you, you might still have some internal injuries from the force of the impact. Right. So it's not like on a TV show where you just get hit and go, ha-ha. You're probably still going to hit the ground and go, oh, God.
Yeah.
But you live, and that's the point.
Yes.
And speaking of living, keep doing that until we see you again here on Crossing the Tape.
Thanks for listening.
I'm Brendan.
And I'm Hillary.
So long.
Stay safe.